This short video gives us a great insight into the growing evolution of the controls between the skin and the mechanical fat stabilizers and the muscular life that appears within it at the small centimeter scale, and how it evolves from the previous situation of the large, big centimeter muscles and their hypertonic performance. So on the left and the right, we see the pictures which are 1 year apart, and what we are seeing in the before. So when this young man moves, you can see that the back remains relatively stiff. And when he tries to get even the transition of the head, he actually ends up with a big movement of the entire torso. So that's the big muscle action. And also note the fact that at this point, when he tries to move the arm, that movement converts into this large scale, relatively stiff transition of the entire body. So, and the new one, what we are observing? We're observing these micro adjustments which are taking place within his back. So the scale of the movements have really reduced, but not because the intent has changed, but just the same intent, the same activation now spreads and distributes over the smallish centimeters, and you can really see how his back from the flat one is developing this double curvature. So that's one of our central points, that the essence of the successful development is dorsalization. Dorsalization, that means the transition towards the back from the front, as opposed to the over ventral performance that unfortunately the standard rehabilitation induces. And the second thing from that would be the transition from the big centimeters, the 10 centimeters and more, into small centimeters. So it's millimeterization, if you wish. So you go to the 1 centimeter, and then eventually you go to the fractions of the centimeter. So that would be changing the entire lattice into smaller and smaller and smaller active increments from the relatively large ones that you have before. And of course, there is a reason why I put them in this diagonal fashion, and here is a rectangular one, because that's where the external layers, that's how they oriented, right? So you see, that's the orientation that you would really see within the latissimus. That's the orientation that you would experience, the natural orientation within trapezius. That's the natural orientation that you would see within the thoracolumbar fascia. So this is the natural orientation which actually then is being the kind of scale transition all the way through, and that reflects the microstructure of the back itself. So you can really see it as the change from the from the small movements into the big ones. And also, if you notice the movements of the arms, everything is becoming from big scale is becoming the small scale transitions. And once again, we're going to bring you back to the videos of Jean-Claude Gumberto, where we indicate the skin surfaces are the stabilizing factors, which are then via the mechanical fat network are controlling the muscular movements. But the more advanced is this network of transitions, the smaller is the scale of control that you have. And that's really the transition from the very big centimeters, which are hypertonic, spastic, uncomfortable, non-differentiated, difficult to control, tiresome, and so on, into the smallish and smallish ones when the movements are less visible, when everything goes into the distribution, and obviously energy saving, effortless, easy and precise. So that's what we actually want, and that's what we see in these classes of transition. And we of course expect this process to continue further, and from the upper parts, which we observe it here with this particular young man. So these are the processes that they have to evolve further into the pelvic girdle, into the lumbar and the waist line region, reactivation of the thoracolumbar fascia, the sacrum, all these other parts. That's what we are going to project into the future.